Welcome, everyone. My name's Phil from Prospel. I'd like to welcome everyone joining today for the March Career Super Fair, and thanks for joining. Obviously the stream that we're on today is for the banking and financial services. And just before we begin formally, I would just like to first off begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I'd also like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So again, thanks for joining. I've got a quite an awesome session lined up for everyone today. I've got a few panelists with me where we're going to kick it off for today. So just as a bit of a timeline for this event, we're going to have about 30-40 minute panel session where we're going to have a chance to ask some questions to some graduates that are in the banking space, which would be great and obviously the financial space. So it'd be great to ask them a couple of questions, find out a bit more about them and just their experience. And hopefully this will help you in obviously finding a career in that sort of dream company that you're looking for. So to kick us off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on, first off, I'm going to bring on Annie, I believe, from Bloomberg. I'm going to bring on also Twee, who is from, where is Twee? Sorry, I think I have all this stuff up. Twee from Westpac. Then also going to bring on Manjusha from Commonwealth Bank. And then I'm going to bring on Jessica Fenster from NAB. So if I can bring these on, bear with me. Okay, spotlight. Okay, so we've got one. How do we do this? I think I'm the host now, so I've got to do this. I had some support, but not anymore. Where are we? Jessica. Okay, add spotlight, here we go. Perfect, welcome. I'm gonna spotlight myself too, hey? Alrighty, so to kick us off, what I might do is I might start with yourself, Annie, and I will get you just introduce sort of who you are, what your role is, and also the company you work for, and a bit about sort of what you do.
Hi everyone, I'm Annie and I work for Bloomberg in Australia. I'm an equity and commodity specialist within our analytics team here. So I started in 2020, right after university in June. So I graduated in July, went straight there. And a little bit about our company, Bloomberg. So we're a global company. We're more prominent in the US and the UK, but that's one of the biggest reasons why you should work for Bloomberg. We have a little great office here in Australia as well, but you get the benefits of a huge company too. But you get the experience of doing many things that you would do in a startup as well here. That's me. Jessica, did you want to continue on?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jess. Hopefully you guys can hear me because I'm in the office as well. Similar to Annie, I was a 2020 grad. So it's been quite a while, and we were also just as COVID began. So that was an interesting experience, but I'm in financial markets, working in investor sales and a deposit solutions team. And I think if you're interested in banking and finance, you probably know that NAB is a Big Four bank. So I won't go in too much about the company itself, but Twee, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Twee. I work at Westpac, so I'm currently in the credit trading team, which is within financial markets. So I was an intern back in 2019 and then started the grad program in 2021. I studied commerce and law at Macquarie Uni and I finished that at the end of 2020. So like Jess said about NAB, Westpac is one of the major banks, the Big Fours in Australia. And it's actually the oldest bank in Australia, so that's quite cool. But even though we're a domestic bank, we've still got offices across the globe. So London and Singapore. So yeah. And I'll pass on to Manjusha from CBA.
Hi guys, I am Manjusha. So I went to UTS, studied an ICT degree for about 5 years, which had internships. So it took a while. But yeah, so last year I joined as a grad with CBA. And since then I've been under their digital dot platform and currently in their institutional business banking. And our group really works on the digitization of the onboarding processes. So yeah, that is what I've been doing. And it's been a solid year now. Had a lot of fun with the actual program itself alongside work, and it's been a great experience.
Awesome. Thanks for that. So before I kick off, I just want to mention everyone that is listening in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a couple of questions to all the panelists just in regards to their experience. But if you have any questions that you would also like to ask, please use the Q&A box at the bottom. Don't use the chat box for questions because they'll probably get lost with all the chat. So use the Q&A box, and then I'll be able to ask those questions if we have time at the end. Should be great. But to kick us off, I might start with actually I might start with you, Manjush, and we'll go back the other way. Why did you choose? The question is, why did you pick your current organization to actually start off your career?
I was very curious on how the tech side within a bank would be, because quite before this, I was also doing internships with Thales, which was much more a tech company that did military-based things. And from there, I kind of, it was a combination of wanting to hit the banking industry while also actually liking the grad program itself from CBA, because there's been a lot of vouch, and everyone I've contacted where I've asked them about it, they really liked the experience overall. So yeah, and that's why I ended up applying to CBA.
Awesome. Yeah, go for it, Twee.
Okay, so for me, from a young age, I was like banking with St. George, so I was very familiar with the Westpac name. When I studied commerce and law, I wasn't really sure, which way I was going to go. I did a little bit of working in a legal team within a bank, and I liked banking, but I didn't really like the legal side. So that's why I kind of went into the financial markets and treasury stream. So when I signed up to the internship program, it was like a really great experience, learnt a lot. So yeah, definitely wanted to come back as a grad.
My turn.
Go for it.
Why did I choose NAB? I guess I forgot to mention that I'm actually Melbourne based. So the options for financial markets in Melbourne are quite slim, as majority of trading happens in Sydney. So NAB was one of the only options. I think maybe ANZ also has a trading desk that you can join in Melbourne. But so I chose NAB for that reason. And I also had a few friends and family that worked here that really spoke highly of the culture and the people, and said that it was a great place to work. And I also studied banking, so I wanted to go into one of the big 4 banks.
Awesome. Annie?
I guess it's my turn. So my reason's a bit different, but I wanted to basically join a company that celebrated learning, as I just graduated from uni. So I just wanted to continue doing that. And I wanted to be in an industry that was basically future-proof. So fintech was definitely an industry I was looking into. And especially during uni, I used something similar to what we offer at Bloomberg. And I really, it wasn't that user-friendly. So I did some own research and was like, you know what, Bloomberg's probably one of the best in the industry in regards to financial services and data in general. And that's basically why I applied.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks for that, everyone. Next question that I actually like to know would be, if you could describe to me sort of what a typical day in the life looks like, that'd be great. Because what I find is obviously going through university, it's great because we're doing all theory work and we're learning quite a lot. And then we get into, the first week and first month, and sometimes it reaches our expectations. Sometimes it's completely different to what we expected. So if you could sort of walk us through in just a couple of minutes, sort of what a typical day in the life looks like for you now, that'd be great. And let's start with Jessica.
Sure. So another great thing about NAB is that they offer heaps of extra, like Annie said, heaps of extra learning and materials. So my day starts with a podcast that actually everybody has access to called NAB Morning Call. And it's just a recap of everything that happened in the financial market overnight. So I listen to that in the morning on my way into the office. I get into the office, I usually check my emails, and then we have an internal market research call every morning that continues to update us, just so we can start our day off knowing everything we need to know about things that happened overnight. And then I work on an intermediary investor sales team. So I spend majority of my days either calling or emailing with financial intermediaries, like financial planners. I don't know, people might know Morgans, like the big ones, kind of like that. So I'll spend majority of my day either emailing or calling with them regarding upcoming maturities that we have, and actioning instructions on behalf of the client. And then I guess work-life balance here is great because I usually get to clock off around 5:30, which is can't complain, and I get to go home. That's it.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thanks, Jess. Manjusha?
Yep. Hello. So thanks to COVID, I think all of us still have that great sense of flexibility. So when you're making that jump from like uni to work, it feels a bit nicer, is what I found. So yeah, you can still go into offices, they're open and stuff, or if you're working from home, that's all good. My day usually starts off around about, let's say 9:30. So I come in, go through the process of just going through meeting, like my emails, checking whatever meetings I have coming up. And then I can usually just dig into some work or whatever Jira ticket or task or a little piece of code or things I'll be working on. So I'll usually do that. Then we have just stand-ups or other standard meetings. And as everyone else has mentioned, you also have your learnings that you do concurrently. And that is entirely up to you how you structure it. So I usually do about like an hour a day or just listening to either tutorials, maybe something hands-on, either in the field I'm doing or something different if that's what I want. And I usually end up finishing about like 5 as well, 5:30. It's good.
Awesome. Annie?
Sorry. So honestly, no one day is the same. I'm sure the same for everyone else as well. But the one thing that's similar is my morning coffee in the morning. It's a must at 8 o'clock. Ice long black with honey. That's definitely my go-to. Just in case anyone wants to know. But after that, at Bloomberg, we're known for many things, and news is definitely one of them. So we have the privilege of having a few functions available for us to look through the news, be updated as to what the market's currently doing, looking at some oil prices. Then on, we have something called the help desk, which we are also on from time to time. And that's where we can help assist our clients who are currently in the market, help them utilize the particular functions that were available. And after that, depending on the day, we have some, internal meetings with our sales team or in our news team. And also some client visits as well as to how to utilize the terminal to best cope with the workflow. And we usually finish, 5:45 or 6 o'clock. And no one is expected to work after 6. That's really great.
That's awesome. Beautiful. And Twee?
Yeah, so like Annie, start my day off with coffee. In financial markets, we start a little earlier, so around 7:30 to 8. Then we've got like a 8 o'clock morning call, kind of like what Jess said, to catch up with what happened overnight in the market and see if like different events will impact how we look at our products and how we trade for the day. So within FM, sales and trading do speak a lot throughout the day, so that's good to have that interaction. And I'd say from about 8:30, clients start coming in for quotes and prices for our credit bonds. But yeah, like Annie said, some of the Bloomberg functions are super helpful. So we've got Bloomberg, and we'll we use that for the news throughout the day. So yeah, that's kind of how the day is. And then yeah, we leave around 6-ish, so kind of similar time to everyone else.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Next question I might ask. So in terms of like going into and sort of starting off your career in the current company, what was one or two things which really stand out to you? And I might give us back to you, Twee. What's one thing which sort of stood out to you working at Westpac, for example, that you maybe expect, maybe didn't expect, but it really, sort of impressed you?
Yeah, so I think being part of the grad program, it's a year-long program and we've got 4 rotations. And what I really like about, each rotation is that the work is completely different, but everyone is so nice and they're always like willing to teach you things and help you out. So yeah, I've noticed that the structure is quite flat. You could be sitting next to like an executive director and working with them and you wouldn't even know it because everyone's so nice and willing to help you and teach you stuff. So yeah, I think that really stands out for me. Yeah, and that's why I really enjoyed the grad program. So yeah, different roles, but like that same theme throughout.
Awesome. How about you, Manjusha?
Yeah, so one of the things I really liked was they're very resourceful and also helpful with whatever you want. Because I know when you're coming in as a grad, you're usually very intimidated, especially in the tech department, if you don't have the correct background or the exact background in the programming skills that they're looking for. Having said so, they're really just looking for your passion and your interest. So when you do come in, they're willing to give you those learning materials and give you a little one-on-one on how the team itself is structured. So it's pretty nice. It wasn't as much as it wasn't entirely all left on me as I was wondering. It was a lot more, hey, no, it's fine, we got you. This is how the team works. This is how you take your time to learn this, and then you can start picking up your tasks one by one. And it was definitely a lot easier just to reach out to your managers and line managers and anyone else higher up. It was not intimidating, and they would be the ones also reaching out to you as well. It was pretty fun.
Awesome. Annie?
So a lot of things, but most definitely the culture and the people for sure. I started at a time where COVID just happened. It was a scary time, and you don't see anyone in the office. You're not in the office. But having such a great team and people reaching out to you on the first day, that just makes it so much better. And like I mentioned, we are such a huge company, very global. So on a day-to-day basis, you're working with people overseas as well. I can say for sure, not a lot of companies you get the ability to do that. I can say for sure, a lot of my close friends from work are people from Hong Kong and Singapore, and that's definitely something that I look forward to every day. And also the people that I meet are really, really great as well, and from different backgrounds. That's definitely something that I enjoy about Bloomberg.
Perfect. And Jessica?
I guess pretty similar about NAB as a whole. The culture and the people is great, and we're pretty flat hierarchy as well. In terms of the grad program itself, similar to what Annie said, when we started, it was obviously COVID, which is everybody was navigating a pretty difficult and different time. And for the grad program to still be so supportive, and the early careers team at NAB to be still running events and all of that, I can only imagine how amazing the grad program would be in a reasonably normal time. But yeah, the thing that probably stood out the most is that the NAB grad program offers that sense of security, in that you are guaranteed somewhat of a role at the end of the program. It's not like, I know some grad programs, you're a grad and then if you don't get a role, you kind of out on your own. Whereas at NAB, you're guaranteed a position, which is great. Whether it's up to you where you want to roll off, obviously, and where you want to find that. But if not, the early careers team is really supportive in helping you find a position, which is really good. So that definitely stood out for me.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. Going back to the point, like just before, like you just sort of just about to graduate, and you're sort of starting to think, okay, so where am I going to apply? And then obviously you go down the application process, and then you do, obviously start having some interviews. What are a couple of things that you did for the initial phase of those interviews, just to prepare for that interview and make sure that you obviously, smashed it out of the park? Any volunteers who'd like to go on this one first? Go for it, Manjusha.
Yeah, so in terms of preparing for it as well, I kind of also reached out to other grads I knew that were working in the areas I was applying for. So had a little Q&A with them, actually asked them what their program was sort of like, and how they faced the interview process. And a general review of the entire, if they have a website on an information page, because they will actually tell you, well, we're looking for continuous learners, we like this kind of personality or whatever it is. Took the keywords from this, my conversations with other people, and even a few generic questions, I've just sort of practiced them now and then, and getting the grip of it, and then went into the interview like that. Most of the interviews now are going to be through your phone or through your video online, stuff like this. So I also made sure that I had this whole thing set up and it was all clean, made sure I was still dressing professionally from top to bottom. And I did also see if there were any technical or questions I want to ask them back. It is a way just to kind of prove that I am eager and I am interested in what they have to offer as well, and get that connection going. And always start off the conversation with something just casual, just to break the ice. So yeah, that was great fun.
Always connect, always build rapport. So important. Who wants to go next? Jessica.
I don't really have too much to add other than the practicing the thinking of questions that they might ask you, and whether you can find that online or just general interview style questions, and trying to practice how you would answer them. And also, I just think from my experience in the assessment center, they're really looking for somebody that can be themselves and isn't really like answering the questions based off like a script, so to say. So if you could just like try and not get too nervous. I remember I was very nervous, but try not to be too nervous, and as much as of yourself as you can, and interact with the other grads. Like, don't be like super competitive, if you get what I mean. Make friends and you should be fine. Should be fine.
Awesome. Twee?
Yeah, definitely agree with what Jess and Manjusha said. Yeah, everyone's got like a website, so you can look and read up on like, you know, what the company does. And I think just showing genuine interest, like if you're going to sign up for like banking and finance, kind of know what's happening in the economy, or like just that sort of thing. But yeah, I think like Jess was saying, especially at the assessment center, be yourself, be genuine, and yeah, don't act super competitive, or yeah, they just don't like that, I think. So.
Annie?
Honestly, there's nothing for me to add. They've covered everything basically.
Yeah, it's hard.
But just like reiterate, you know, do your homework, know who you're applying for. Secondly, dress to impress. Thirdly, I guess, just be genuine, authentic, because we want to hire you for you. We don't want to hire you for someone else. And you know, if you do get hired and we hired you for a different reason, people are going to have question marks in their head. So definitely these are the few things just to keep in mind.
That's awesome. And I think that to echo, I think it may have been, and Josh mentioned it, have some questions to ask them as well, because that does show that you are very hungry. And I've got a bit of a recruitment background, and asking a question at the end, like if I was successful for this graduate program, and you know, you have a chance to look back over the past year, what does a successful candidate look like? Because I love that question, because they have to actually visualize you getting the job, getting the role, and then thinking about you being successful in the role. So it just sort of paints a really good picture in their mind. So it's a good question to ask. Awesome. Actually, there was this really nice question. So they said, hi panelists, what do you think is the first challenge you are faced with after graduation in the workplace? What was the challenge? How did you overcome it? And then from that experience, what kind of advice would you give a fresh graduate? So first challenge you faced, how did you overcome it? And then any advice you'd give to any fresh graduates?
I can take this one. I'm quite an introvert, so networking was definitely quite hard for me, especially when I started. It was during COVID, so I wasn't really bumping into anyone in the pantry or in the office. So you have to deliberately reach out to people, and that was kind of hard for me. But you just overcome it by just going like, you know what, it is what it is. You just have to do it. And I wish I did it sooner, but that's probably my advice as well. What was the second question again? Sorry.
How did you overcome it? And then, yeah, which you sort of did mention as well,
yeah.
which is just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
And then what kind of advice would you give to a fresh graduate?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just go out your comfort zone and just, you know, if you think this is something that you should be doing, just do it. Awesome. And I guess like reputation is everything as well. So make sure you have a niche so that everyone knows who you are, and that will get you to places.
I'm happy to add something. I understand that the past 2 years we've all been working from home and it's comfortable and all that jazz. In that I like working from home as well. However, I can't explain enough how much more you learn, especially as a graduate, being in the office. So my piece of advice for the grads would be, if your team is going into the office, you should probably go in as well. And even if they're not, like, we've got people, a director on my team always recommends going into the office, because when I started, it was really hard. I think we were in the office for like 8 weeks before lockdown happened. So I spent like the first month of lockdown doing those 8 things that I'd learnt, because everybody was trying to settle into their own jobs and you can't expect them to teach you really. But that's my recommendation. Try and go into the office if you can.
Awesome. Who's going next? Twee?
Yeah, I can quickly jump in there. So yeah, definitely agree with Jess. Like if you can go into the office, go in. It's like so much easier to learn in the office, and then, you know, you can get your face out there. But yeah, also if you don't know what's going on, if you've got like so many questions, you're sitting there not sure, like just ask. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. If you don't want to sit on something for too long, just ask someone if you don't know. So yeah, and also offer to help. Like if you're sitting there, you don't have much work to do, just like ask anyone, you know, can I help you with anything? And I think they really appreciate that.
Perfect. Manjusha?
Yeah, something to add that these guys slightly different. So this goes out to everyone within the tech stream, the security and the data science, and everyone that falls under there. When you get into these companies and you start working, you're going to feel a very big sense of imposter syndrome. You're going to feel like you aren't enough. You're going to feel like you haven't got the qualifications yet, but you do. You just need to believe in yourself. And this started off with something like just pair programming, or just taking on small bugs or tiny little tasks here and there. And even if it's a very technical thing, you might, my employer would give me a very small non-technical aspect of it to better understand how the system fits in a whole. And so by taking on like just 1 or 2 things, you build up your confidence a bit more. So it's not necessarily that you understand everything, but you know how to learn, and you know how to research and get information from yourself. Even as simple as knowing who's who in your team and who to direct your questions to, you'll get better at it. You just need that initial state of confidence, and that anxiety will definitely be there, but you will overcome it. So just believe in yourself is what I'm going to say. So even now in the interview process, you're going to feel like you're not qualified, but trust me, they know that you're worth it. So be there with that assurity there.
Awesome. Appreciate that. I've got a question here from a student. I'm not too sure how applicable it is, but they asked if financial modeling was really important just before they apply for like an internship or a grad position. So if they haven't done it, is it still worth applying, or is it something which they should, I guess, do beforehand?
I don't have a background in financial modeling, and I haven't done any of it, and I'll
answer that question then.
Yeah. I'm doing okay, so I don't think you need it.
Yeah. Would that be applicable, do you think, for everyone on the call?
But also going off that, I think once you get into a bank or wherever you're going, they do teach you a lot of what you need to know. So if you did need financial modeling for the role, then I'm sure they would provide you with knowledge, or send you on a course themselves or something like that.
Yep. Awesome. All right. So one of coming to some of the last questions. Why should students apply for your organization? Because currently, obviously, March is one of the busiest periods when it comes to obviously looking for graduate jobs, either start middle, late, or even potentially next year. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So why should we choose your company to apply to go into your graduate program or your internship program? Like, what makes you different from everyone else? Let's start. I'll pick. We'll start with Annie.
If you want to work in a future-proof industry, fintech, why won't you apply for Bloomberg? And if you like to travel and you like the people, I don't see why not.
Awesome.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I feel like I'm doing a bit of a sales pitch, but I would recommend NAB firstly because we've got, the 2023 graduate program has like 9 different streams. So you've got heaps of choice for no matter what you wanted to do. I know that one of the streams for next year is going to be financial markets, which I honestly wish we had when I first applied, but I still ended up, I did corporate and institutional banking, and I still ended up where I wanted to be, which is great. And then, as I mentioned before, just that security of having so much opportunity and support in finding a job after the graduate program. Like I can't speak for the other places, but I don't know if they offer that, but I think that's a great selling point about NAB.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think Westpac is a really great organization to work for. Like Jess said, the major banks have lots of different streams. So, there's tech, there's financial services, and within that there's financial markets and CIB. So there's so many different streams. Like there's definitely going to be something that you will enjoy. Also, the program has rotations. So you might not like some teams that you rotate through, but you might find something you absolutely love. So there's that choice and the flexibility to move around the division. So it's a really great place to work.
Right, Manjusha.
Cool. Yeah. We are very social, which might be very hard to come across, given COVID and stuff, but we are very social beings, even working from home or in office. Our grad program, apart from all the tech and the various streams of actual work, we get paid volunteering leaves. So since then to now, I have done the Can for Cancer Walk, the hackathons, Oz Harvest, Girls in Tech teaching with high schools. I think other stuff like this, so volunteering to be a panelist and being a CBA representative. All of these events still come under paid volunteering leaves as a part of CBA, and it is great. You don't even have to do all of this as well. It's not like a mandatory thing, but if you love doing these kind of social stuff, it's there. We also have things like hosted by the grads as well. So tech reading events. So I've got a reading club on Friday where we pick some article for the week, and we literally go through talking about is blockchain the next big thing, or various what about AI? Is that where we're going? Or how is the bank looking in this department or this area? And it's just an opportunity for the grads to just come in and just have a casual conversation. And things like Friday night chills. So even our line managers will come in and it's just a session of games, drinking games on Fridays. And yeah, we also have all the grad merch and stuff coming in, plus a grad ball. So I think that covers enough of it, but we have a lot of social events that come out through the year, and they're always updated like a little newsletter on Monday morning. So you can see which ones you are interested in, want to take part of it. And it is very social for something that's still even at home and with lockdown. And you spend a lot of your time in meetings, you don't need a camera on, you're just talking, interacting with people, voicing out your ideas and stuff. So that was not at all expected when I was applying for this program, but I'm really glad I did, because when I am a social butterfly and I found all of this stuff to be really fun. You don't have to really put yourself out there as well. You can always just come in and just listen in if that's what you're into. But this makes it a lot more connected. So, yeah.
Awesome. Beautiful. One question I keep seeing a couple of times that pops up, and might have a bit of an idea, just in regards to international students. I'm not sure if people know if somebody is an international student, number one, are they able to apply? And yeah, number two, if they can, should they apply? And then obviously, yeah, I'm not sure who wants to answer that one.
You go.
Sorry, I was already unmuted. Regardless, I think you should still definitely apply. Don't lose that opportunity just because you're not sure, because they will come back and just let you know what, if you are a good candidate and stuff, they could tell you whatever requirements you need to meet for that. So just go for it. There's no harm in really not doing it or not trying. You can always go again next year if you look like you have to meet some requirement. In terms of behalf of CBA, I'm not entirely sure about international students, but they do allow for relocations. So I'm going to lean towards a no, but I'm not entirely sure. So please do check out. Sorry about that. Not a complete answer, but just don't miss out and prevent applying just because of this.
I'm pretty sure this stands for majority of the banks, but in terms of NAB, we only hire Oz or New Zealand residents or permanent residents. yeah,
Yep.
which is unfortunate, but that's the case.
Yeah.
I guess it's different for Bloomberg. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go first?
No, I was just agreeing with Jess. So unfortunately not, but ANZ, citizens and PR, you can. So yeah, sorry.
But I second with Trisha. So if you want to, just apply. And like I mentioned previously, because Bloomberg's so global, so we have so many different offices around the globe. If you don't get Australia, you can apply for Europe or in Asia as well.
Awesome. It's a good opportunity. Perfect. Well, I guess actually, might get you back on Annie just quickly. Somebody just asked in regards to the structured learning at Bloomberg, because I know you said you do a lot more education, or not a lot more, but you do a lot of education at Bloomberg. Is that sort of structured learning, or, and if it is, like how is it structured?
So we do have structured learning. We also have learning on the side. If you do want to, for example, learn Python or Java, if you want in your spare time, we do have those offerings as well that you can do. In terms of the structured learning, if you're in analytics in this team that I'm currently in, so in your first 4 months, it will just be straight learning about the financial markets, about the Bloomberg terminal as well. So usually these training sessions are in Hong Kong or in Singapore, so you get flown out, which is also a huge perk. And from there, so you become a generalist, you become a specialist, and so you choose a specialty. So I'm an equity and commodity specialist, but we also offer fixed income, foreign exchange as well. And then from there, you can continue your studies and becoming an advanced specialist as well. So all these training sessions are done by a different trainer. So they'll be very catered towards your training style, and also what clients we get as well. But if you need more information, you can feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or my email as well.
Awesome. Thanks for Annie. Beautiful. Well, sort of to close, I guess I might just do like a rapid fire question sort of around. And let's just ask, what is one thing that you love about the culture of the organization you work for? So it could be social, could be career progression, could be anything. So we'll start with you, Annie, and then we'll work back the other way.
Career progression and the amount of support that we get from everyone.
Awesome.
Jessica?
I want to say something smart like Annie just did, but I'm going to say that the fact that my team always goes out for like lunch on a Friday. We try to just, especially since being back in the office, just to build that team dynamic. And I guess that goes hand in hand with like career progression as well, because you're building connections with people. And it's so different when over Team or Zoom. It's better to do it in person. Fee?
Yeah, so I think a big thing is we've got like a buddy program and a mentor program. So throughout the year, you're never going to be alone. You've always got someone to ask, silly questions to, and you've got familiar faces across the floor. So I really like that about our grad program.
Yeah, so as mentioned, you've got that the buddy systems and mentoring stuff and all the support that you need. You've got your social events, and overall, I would say comfy. I don't know a better word for saying that, but really comfy. The other day, I went to our city offices for to pick up a laptop, and this was not my usual office as well. And the moment I went in, from the staff to the tech team to even the people that you're sitting into, they will start up a conversation with you if you look like you're open to it. And it's very casual and easy. Like even if it's on the elevator or anything, or even if you're raising concerns, whatever it might be, the initial, that introverted tension you might get isn't there as much. It feels quite nice, and you can blend in quite easy as well.
Awesome. Beautiful. Well, look, thanks everyone for joining me. Tons of value there for students that are wanting to get into the industry, and for students that are wanting to apply for some roles. There's open positions at all of the companies that have, and organizations for people that have jumped on today. So if you go into the chat box, you'll be able to click onto those links to apply. But thanks thanks Annie, thanks Jessica, thanks Manjusha, and thanks Twee for jumping on. And yeah, thank you everyone. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, and good luck everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Believe in yourself a little bit. You got this. You got this.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that.